Ambassador Elena Reyes walked into the huge crystal chamber with her team of 12 humans behind her. The Galactic Concord meeting place floated above a quiet star, and its walls shone like black glass. Species from 200 worlds sat in curved rows that rose high above the floor. The air smelled clean and cold, like machines had scrubbed it for 1,000 years. Big aliens with crystal skin watched from one side, while tall, furry Krell sat straight and proud on another. Saren beings floated in clear bubbles, their thoughts touching minds instead of using words. Everyone looked down at the small human group as if they were children who wandered into a serious room. For many years, humans had only watched these meetings. Now they had seats, but the older species still treated them like newcomers who should stay quiet. Today, the topic was simple on the surface. The Concord wanted humans to pay a new tax called the Harmony tax. They also wanted humans to stop growing too fast and give up mining on 3 far worlds. They wanted Concord ships to watch over every human system forever. Elder Vexari speakers took turns talking in slow, calm voices. They said humans were young and reckless. They said humans built too many ships and found too many new planets too quickly. They said the galaxy needed balance, and humans broke that balance. One crystal being stood tall and pointed a shining finger at Elena. "Your kind spreads like fire through dry grass," it said. "We offer you a place here, but only if you learn your place." Elena listened without moving her face. Her people sat still and looked straight ahead. Hours passed with more speeches and more demands. Finally, the Vexari Prime raised both arms for silence. The chamber became quiet, except for the soft hum of lights. "Now the human delegation will give its answer," the Prime said. Stood up slowly. She wore a plain gray uniform with no decorations. Her voice came out clear and steady in the trade standard language everyone used. "Humanity has listened to your words," she said. "We have thought about them carefully. Our answer is no." A ripple of sound moved through the chamber. Some aliens made low noises of surprise. The Krell leader laughed loud and deep, like thunder in a cave. "You speak boldly, little one," he said, "but boldness without strength means nothing. You will change your mind soon enough." Elena looked at him, then at the Vexari Prime, then at the floating Saren. "We will not change our mind," she said. "We decline your terms, all of them." She turned to her team. The 12 humans rose together. They walked toward the tall exit doors in a straight line. No one ran. No one looked back. The crystal floor echoed under their boots. Guards with energy weapons stepped forward, but stopped when the humans did not slow. The doors opened wide on silent hinges. Elena stepped through first. Her people followed one by one. The doors closed behind them with a soft final sound. Inside the chamber, nobody moved for a long moment. The Vexari Prime stared at the empty space where the humans had been. His crystal face showed thin cracks of confusion. The Krell leader stopped laughing. He leaned forward and gripped the arms of his seat, hard. The Saren bubbles pulsed with fast, worried thoughts that filled the air like static. A young Krell aide spoke in a low voice. "They left. They really left." The Prime turned his head slowly. "They will return," he said. "No species walks away from the Concord. They need us. They need our markets, our protection, our wisdom." But deep inside, his voice carried a tiny shake. Nobody had heard from him before. Elena and her team entered their shuttle. The pilot waited with engines already warm. They strapped in without hurry. The small ship pulled away from the obsidian spire, smooth and quiet. Inside the passenger cabin, Elena looked out the window at the stars. One of her aides, a young man named Marcus, spoke first. "Do you think they will chase us?" Elena shook her head. "Not yet," she said. "They still believe we will beg to come back." Marcus smiled a little. Then they do not know us very well. The shuttle jumped into faster-than-light drive. The galaxy stretched and twisted around them. Back in the chamber, the aliens began to talk all at once. Voices overlapped in anger and disbelief. One Saren mind sent a sharp thought to everyone. This has never happened in all our history. A Vexari elder stood and raised his voice above the noise. We will send messages. We will offer better terms of their weakness. But even as he spoke, the hollow screens around the chamber lit up with new data. Human ships were leaving Concord patrol zones. Human traders were turning away from Concord stations. Human scientists stopped sharing new discoveries on open channels. It was not war. It was not anger. It was something colder. It was withdrawal. The aliens watched the screens in silence now. A Krell general spoke quietly to his neighbor. They did not shout. They did not threaten. They simply stopped playing our game. The Vexari Prime looked at the map of human space, shown in bright blue lines. Colonies spread wide and growing. Shipyards glowed with activity. Research outposts dotted places the Concord had marked as empty and useless. For the first time in many long ages, the great chamber felt small. The eternal consensus felt fragile. And somewhere far away, a human shuttle flew toward home, carrying 12 people who had just changed everything without raising their voices. The stars outside burned steady and bright. They did not care who ruled the galaxy. They only waited to see what humans would do next. The shuttle, carrying Ambassador Elena Reyes and her team, jumped out of the Obsidian Spire system and headed straight for the nearest human relay station. Inside the small cabin, everyone stayed quiet at first. They looked at each other with calm faces, but their eyes showed something bright and alive. Marcus, the young aide, broke the silence first. That felt good, he said. Elena nodded once. It felt right, she answered. Back at the spire, the great chamber had turned into a storm of voices. Aliens shouted over each other in every language the translators could handle. The Vexari Prime stood frozen for a moment, then slammed one crystal fist on his console. Silence fell like a heavy curtain. He spoke in a voice that tried to sound strong. This is temporary, he said. They act from pride, but pride breaks when hunger comes. We will cut their trade lines, freeze their credits, block their ships from our lanes. Feel the weight soon. A Saren bubble pulsed with cold blue light. The mind voice filled every head. We must send envoys at once, offer small gifts, remind them of shared history. The Krell leaders snorted loud. Gifts, he said. They walked out like we were nothing. Now we chase them with flowers. No, we show strength. Send warships to their borders. Remind them who keeps order here. But even as he spoke, the first alerts came in. Screens around the chamber flashed red and gold. Human vessels pulled away from joint patrol zones. No shots fired, no angry words, just quiet departure. One after another, Concord-marked ships reported empty docking bays where human supply craft used to wait. Trade stations near human space saw their cargo lists shrink fast. A Vexari analyst spoke up, voice shaking a little. Our rapid response fleets rely on human crews for 37% of operations. If they all leave, we lose half our speed in emergencies. They will not all leave, he said. Some will stay loyal. But the screens kept updating. More human personnel filed quiet exit requests at shared outposts. They packed personal items, cleaned their desks, left notes of polite thanks. No sabotage, no fights, just gone. A junior Saren floated closer to the central holomap. Look, she said. Human merchant fleets reroute already. They avoid our toll gates, take longer paths, but pay nothing. Their own lanes grow busy, while ours sit empty. The map showed blue human routes thickening like rivers after rain. Old Concord gold lanes looked thin and forgotten. The Krell general stood up tall. This cannot stand, he growled. We built this system over ages. They use our peace to grow fat, then spit in our faces. We must act now. The Prime looked at him hard. And start a war? Asked. Over what? They did not attack. They left. The chamber grew quiet again. Aliens stared at the map, as if it might change back if they looked long enough. Hours turned into days. Messages flew out from the spire to Earth and every human world. Formal notes, polite threats, soft promises. All received short replies. Humanity thanks the Concord for past cooperation. We now choose independent paths. No anger in the words, no insults, just clear final statements. On a neutral trade moon far from the spire, Elena met a Saren diplomat in secret. The alien floated inside a shielded room, its bubble glowing soft green. We come to talk, it sent. The Concord regrets harsh words. Return, name your price. Elena sat across from the bubble, on a plain metal chair. She looked straight at the shifting colors inside. We offered fair terms for many years, she said. Children demanded we bow. Now you ask us to come back. The Saren pulsed faster. We were wrong, it admitted. We see that now. The galaxy needs you. Elena leaned forward a little. The galaxy does not need us, she said. We need each other as equals, or not at all. You chose not at all. That choice stands. The Saren mind brushed hers gentle like a whisper. You will be alone, it said. No allies, no protection, no shared knowledge. Elena smiled, small and calm. Alone is familiar, she answered. Humans spent most of our history alone on one small world. We learned to stand anyway. We built fire, then cities, then ships, then stars. We can stand alone again if needed. The Saren bubble dimmed a little. Then it brightened with sudden hope. But you do not want war, it sent. No, Elena said. We never wanted war. We wanted respect. You refused, so we stopped playing your game. We build our own. The meeting ended soon after. The Saren left without more words. Elena walked back to her ship, under a sky full of strange stars. She felt no fear, only steady purpose. News spread fast through the galaxy. Species that once feared Concord anger now watched with interest. The insectoid Zorath hive sent quiet messages to human stations. They asked about trade without taxes, without oversight. Other mid-level races followed. They saw humans open ports that asked only for honest exchange. No ancient ranks, no forced tribute, just goods for goods, work for work. Human colonies grew in places Concord maps marked dead or useless. Engineers found water under rock, turned poison air into breathable sky. Shipyards worked day and night. New hulls slid into space faster than anyone thought possible. Old jump tech humans improved, became reliable enough to cross gaps others feared. Concord tried sanctions next. They locked human accounts, barred access to shared hyperspace channels. Humans sent calm notices. Those channels built with human math and human steel. Access now costs fair fee or stays closed. No threats, just business. The Spire Council met again. Fewer seats filled this time. Some species sent only low aids. Others stopped coming at all. The Vexari Prime looked older, his crystal skin less bright. We misjudged, he said to the room. They do not beg. They adapt. They move forward without us. A Krell voice rumbled from the back. And we sit here waiting for them to fail. But the map no longer lied. Human space grew wider every week. New friends joined not from fear but from choice. The old eternal consensus cracked a little more each day. No one shouted, no one panicked yet. But deep in every alien mind a new thought took root. Need permission. And that truth changed everything. Far away on a growing human world, Elena stood on a balcony and watched ships come and go. Cargo haulers from distant species docked beside human frigates. Laughter mixed in many tongues. She breathed deep, clean air that once choked lungs. The stars above felt close enough to touch. She knew the road ahead would not stay easy. But for the first time in long memory, humanity walked its own path. No chains, no masters, just open sky and endless possibility. Weeks passed after the humans walked out, and the galaxy started to feel the change in small ways at first. Concord stations near human borders saw their docking logs grow shorter every day. Cargo ships that once lined up now flew past without stopping. Alien merchants waited longer for supplies that used to arrive on time. A Zorath Hive ship captain sent a private message to a human freeport. "We bring silk, metals, rare spices," the captain said. "We ask only fair price, no tax, no questions." The human harbor master replied fast. "Dock at Bay 7, welcome." The Zorath ship landed soon after, and trade began without any Concord stamp or seal. Word spread through Hive networks, quick and quiet. Other Zorath captains followed, then ships from smaller races joined. They liked the simple rules. Pay what you agree, no ancient ranks, no forced shares. Human ports grew busy with strange hulls and new voices in the obsidian spire. The council room looked emptier now. Many seats stayed empty, species sent excuses or no word at all. The Vexari Prime called an urgent session anyway. "We must tighten our grip," he said. "Cut their fuel exports, limit their relay access, raise tariffs high. They will feel pain and return." A Siren mind voice answered, calm but sharp. "Pain makes them stronger, not weaker. They already build their own relays, use their own fuel sources. Our cuts hurt us more." The Krell general slammed his fist again. "Then we send fleets," he roared. "Show them the cost of leaving." The Prime hesitated. "War?" he asked. "Over pride?" The general growled low. "Over order." But no vote came that day. No one wanted to start shooting first. Meanwhile, human engineers worked on worlds once called barren. They drilled deep, found ice, turned rock into farms. Factories hummed. New ships rose from dry docks. That older species, called dangerous, now carried cargoes safe and fast. A new route opened through a nebula others feared. Human scouts mapped it, tested it, cleared it. Freighters followed soon after, cutting travel time between arms of the galaxy. Concord maps grew old fast. Blue human lines spread where gold Concord lines faded. One quiet night, a mixed group met on a dark moon far from any main lane. Elena Reyes sat at a round table with captains from Zorath, a few Krell defectors, and Saren observers. No guards, no spies, just open talk. A Zorath leader clicked mandibles in greeting. "Your ports treat us as equals," he said. "No bowing, no tribute. We want more of that." Elena nodded. "We build together," she answered. "Share knowledge, share work, share risk. No masters, no servants." The Krell at the table shifted, uncomfortable. "My people still serve the old ways," he said. "But many grow tired. Strength, your speed." "We want to learn." Elena looked around the table. "Then learn with us," she said. "Not under us, not above us. Side by side." Talk turned to plans. Joint patrols for pirate zones. Shared research on hard problems. Open borders for travel and trade. No big alliance yet, just small steps. But each step pulled more away from the spire. Back at the chamber, the Vexari Prime watched new reports pile up. Sanctions failed. Human economy grew anyway. Old allies drifted. A message came from Earth, plain and short. Humanity continues independent development. We invite any species to visit, discuss mutual benefit. No demands attached. The Prime read it twice, then crushed the datapad in his hand. "They mock us," he whispered. But his voice carried no anger now, only weariness. A young Vexari aide stepped forward. "Perhaps we should visit," she said. "Build. Learn why they grow while we shrink." The Prime stared at her long. Then he nodded slow. "Send a delegation," he said. "Small, quiet, no flags, no show. Just eyes and ears." The aide left to prepare. Days later, a small Concord shuttle slipped into human space. No weapons, no escort. They requested docking at a new station called Horizon Reach. The human controller answered polite. Welcome, approach Bay 12, clear for landing. The shuttle touched down gentle. The delegation stepped out into bright, clean halls. Humans greeted them with simple handshakes, nods, smiles. No ceremony, no bowing. A guide led them through wide corridors, past workshops, labs, markets. They saw children of many species play together, saw engineers from different worlds argue over blueprints, then laugh and fix mistakes, saw traders haggle fair and fast. One Saren delegate floated close to a human scientist. "Do you decide rank here?" it asked. The scientist shrugged. "We do not," she said. "We look at the work, not the body. Good ideas win, no matter who speaks them." The Saren pulsed thoughtful. "And if ideas clash, we test them," the scientist answered. "Build models, run trials, see what works. No endless talk, no ancient vote, just results." The delegation walked more, saw hydro farms glowing green, saw shipyards spark with welders, saw schools teach old knowledge and new discoveries, side by side. At the end of the tour, Elena waited in a quiet room. She offered tea, water, whatever they liked. The Vexari leader spoke first. "We came to see truth," he said. "We see it now. Your way grows fast, because it lets everyone think. Our way slows, because it fears change." Elena listened, quiet. "We never wanted to break your concord," she said. "We wanted a seat as equals. You said no." The Vexari looked down. "We were wrong," he admitted. "Pride blinded us." Elena leaned forward. "Pride can lift or crush," she said. "Choose lift." The delegation left soon after. They carried no treaty home, just pictures, memories, questions. Back at the spire, they spoke to the council. Words spread slow but sure. More species listened. Some sent their own quiet visitors. Some started small trades. The old order cracked wider. No big crash, no loud fall. Just steady, quiet change. Like ice melting under warm sun. Humans kept building, kept inviting, kept refusing to kneel. And the galaxy watched, learning that one species walking away could shift every star. Far from politics, on a green new colony, Elena stood on a hill. Wind carried scents of fresh earth and distant engines. Ships crossed the sky in steady lines. She thought of the chamber long ago. Stunned faces. Thought of the silence when doors closed. A small smile touched her lips. "They thought we needed them," she whispered to the wind. "But we only needed each other. And that made all the difference." The stars above stayed bright, unchanged. They watched without judgment, ready for whatever came next. Months passed, and the cracks in the old galactic concord grew wider every day. The obsidian spire felt colder now, with empty seats and dim lights in unused halls. Many species no longer sent delegates. Some quietly withdrew, others just stopped answering calls. The economy of the old alliance stuttered like an engine running low on fuel. Core worlds that once enjoyed endless shipments now faced empty shelves. Food grown on human terraformed farms no longer arrived in steady streams. Medical supplies, once traded freely, now cost more or vanished completely. Factories slowed because rare metals stopped flowing from human-controlled mines. The Vexari Prime walked the empty corridors alone one night. His crystal body reflected faint glows from dying panels. He stopped at a wide window and stared at the stars. They looked the same, yet everything felt different. A soft chime sounded behind him. The Krell general entered, without asking. His heavy steps echoed loud in the quiet. "They leave us to starve," the general said. "Not on purpose," the Prime answered. "They simply stopped giving what we took for granted." The general snorted. "We should have crushed them early, before they grew teeth." The Prime turned slow. "Crush them, and what then? Fight every new friend they make? Lose more every day?" The general looked away. Then what do we do? The Prime had no quick answer. He only knew one path left. He returned to the chamber the next day. Only 70 species bothered to attend. Some sent holograms, others empty chairs. The Prime stood at the center and spoke in a voice everyone could hear. "We can no longer pretend," he said. "Humanity does not crawl back. They build without us. They thrive without us. We must ask them to return." A wave of shocked murmurs filled the room. Repeated. "Not demand, not threaten. Ask." A serene voice brushed the air, gentle but firm. "And if they refuse again, then we live with our choice," the Prime said. The vote came fast. No one argued against it. A galaxy-wide broadcast went out hours later. The message carried no pride, no threats, only plain words to the people of humanity. The Galactic Concord admits error. We treated you as lesser when you proved greater in spirit. We offer open talks, no conditions set in advance. Name your terms. We listen. The broadcast repeated on every channel, every relay, every world. Silence followed for 3 long days. Then a reply came, not from Earth, but from a growing station in the Orion Arm. A simple text appeared on screens across the galaxy, read by a calm human voice. "The Concord assumed humanity needed you. We do not. We offered partnership as equals for many years. You chose condescension instead. That door closed when we walked out. Effective now, all former Concord territories next to human space become neutral zones. Cross without clearance and face proportional response. We wish your worlds well in this new time without our help." No anger filled the words, no victory shout, just clear lines drawn in space. In the spire, the remaining delegates stared at the message. The Krell general sat heavy in his seat. "They did not declare war," he said quiet. "They just stopped caring if we exist." The Vexari Prime felt something new in his core. Not fear exactly, but respect mixed with regret. He looked at the holomap one more time. Human space now covered 20% more than before. New stations glowed bright. New alliances formed, with species tired of old rules. Zorath hives traded openly. Former Concord worlds sent quiet requests for talks. Human free ports welcomed all who came in peace. The old council tried one last meeting. Voices sounded tired. "We must adapt," one elder said, "or fade." The Prime nodded. Adapt or fade. That became the quiet truth everywhere. Human ships patrolled their new borders, firm but fair. They stopped pirates who thought chaos would follow. They helped colonies in trouble, no matter the species. Word spread that humans kept promises. They fought when needed, but never started fights. They traded without tricks. They shared knowledge without strings. More species crossed the line. Some joined human-led councils. Others stayed independent, but friendly. The galaxy split slow and sure. One side held the old ways, shrinking, quiet, and careful. The other side grew loud, with new ideas, new ships, new hope. No emperor rose on the human side. No single ruler claimed the stars. Came from many voices. From captains, scientists, traders, everyday people. They argued loud sometimes, but they moved forward together. Elena Reyes stood on the command deck of a new exploration ship. It carried crews from 10 different species. They looked out at a fresh nebula no one mapped before. A young Zorath engineer clicked happy sounds. "This place holds wonders," she said. Elena smiled. "Then we find them together." The ship pushed forward, engines humming steady. Behind them, the old spire grew small in memory. Its leaders learned hard lessons. Power does not come from force or age. It comes from respect earned every day. And humanity never asked for thrones. They only asked for room to stand tall. When denied, they took the room anyway. Not with weapons first, but with will, with work, with refusal to bend. The stars watched silent. They saw old empires fade, They saw new paths open, and in the quiet between they heard one truth clear. Humans did not conquer the galaxy. They simply outgrew the need for chains, and the galaxy became larger for it. Years passed, and the old galactic Concord became a shadow of what it once was. The obsidian spire still orbited its quiet star, but now it served mostly as a museum and meeting place for historians. Few species gathered there anymore. The great chamber echoed empty most days, with only dust and faint lights to keep watch. Ceremonial sessions happened once a year for tradition's sake. Delegates came in small numbers, spoke polite words, then left quickly. The Vexari Prime had stepped down long ago, replaced by younger voices who accepted the new reality. The galaxy had split into two clear paths, without any war to mark the change. One path stayed rooted in ancient customs, careful, slow, respectful of rank and history. The other path moved fast, open, eager to try new things, welcoming anyone who wanted to join. People called the second path the human sphere, not because humans ruled it, but because humans started it. Wide and lively. Hundreds of species lived, worked, traded, and explored together there. No single government held power. Instead, loose councils met when needed to solve problems, share discoveries, plan joint voyages. Decisions came from debate, votes, sometimes simple agreements over shared meals. Humans never tried to lead alone. They shared every seat, every voice, every risk. Elena Reyes, now old with silver hair and steady eyes, stood on the balcony of a new world called Elisara. The planet, once a dead rock, now bloomed green with forests, lakes, and cities that touched the sky gently. Below her, a vast port buzzed with life. Ships from every corner docked side by side. Vexari crystal vessels gleamed next to Krell heavy haulers. Sarin bubbles floated near Zorath hive carriers. Human explorers, sleek and fast, rested beside them all. Laughter rose from the docks in dozens of languages. Children ran between crates, chasing glowing drones. Traders haggled with smiles, not frowns. Engineers argued over new designs, then shook hands when they found answers. Elena watched it all with quiet pride. A young alien journalist approached her, careful and polite. The being came from a small species new to the sphere. "Excuse me," she said through her translator. "May I ask you a question?" Elena turned and nodded. "Of course." The journalist held up a small recorder. "Do you regret walking out of the Concord chamber that day?" Elena looked back at the busy port, then at the stars above. "Regret?" she repeated soft. "No. We waited many years to be seen as equals. We spoke reason, we offered friendship. They answered with demands and laughter. When they refused respect, we stopped asking for it. We built our own way instead." The journalist tilted her head, and the galaxy changed because of that one walk. Same calm smile from years ago. "One walk started many steps," she said. "Others saw us stand tall and decided they wanted that freedom too. We did not force anyone. We invited. They came because they chose to." The journalist looked down at the thriving scene below. "It looks peaceful here," she said. "No emperors, no forced laws, no endless ranks. How do you keep order without a strong center?" Elena pointed to a group of workers lifting a heavy beam together. "Order comes from shared purpose," she answered. "We all want safe homes, full bellies, new knowledge, strong friends. When we agree on those things, rules follow naturally. When we disagree, we talk, test, argue, fix. It takes time, but it works better than commands from above." The young alien watched the workers laugh as the beam locked into place. "I see," she said. "Thank you for your time." Elena nodded. "Safe travels." The journalist left, and Elena stayed on the balcony a while longer. Wind carried scents of new plants and hot metal from forges. She thought back to the stunned silence in the crystal chamber. She remembered the faces full of shock, anger, disbelief. Now those same species sent ships here, traded ideas, shared meals. Some even thanked her in quiet messages. Not all forgave the past. Some stayed in the old ways and lived smaller, quieter lives. But even they no longer mocked human ambition. They simply watched from afar and learned. A shadow crossed the balcony. Marcus, now grown, with lines on his face, stepped beside her. He carried 2 cups of warm tea. Still thinking about old days, he asked. Elena took the cup. Sometimes, she said. Mostly I think about tomorrow. Marcus looked out at the port. Tomorrow looks good. New jump gate opens next week. Takes us farther than ever before. Elena sipped her tea. Farther together. They stood in comfortable silence. Ships launched one after another, climbing to the stars. Each carried crews mixed and hopeful. No flags waved above them. Only symbols of mutual respect painted on hulls. The human sphere spread steady, like roots finding good soil. It did not conquer. It did not demand loyalty. It offered hands open and waiting. And more hands reached back every day. Far across space on the old spire, a lone Vexari elder sat in the empty chamber. He stared at the same holomap that once showed human space small and contained. Now blue lines filled half the view and kept growing, gentle but sure. The elder touched the map with one crystal finger. They did not destroy us, he whispered. They simply became too big to ignore. He rose slow and walked to the window. Stars burned bright outside, unchanged. They had seen empires rise and fall for ages. Watched something new. Not an empire, but a web of free worlds connected by choice, not chains. The elder felt no bitterness, only quiet wonder. Humanity had walked out one day long ago, and in doing so opened doors no one knew existed. The galaxy grew larger because of it, wiser because of it, braver because of it. And somewhere on a new world, Elena Reyes looked up at the same stars. She raised her cup in a silent toast. To the ones who stayed behind, she thought, and to the ones who came with us. May all paths lead to good places. Wind answered soft through the trees. Ships crossed overhead trailing light. The future waited wide and open. Humans never sought to rule the stars. They simply refused to kneel any longer. And in that refusal, the whole sky changed forever.